If you are looking to move to Phoenix, then this is the video that you cannot miss. We're gonna pull up a map and give you a visual. Now, if you're a visual learner like me, this is gonna be a great video because we're gonna pull up the map and share with you the areas of Phoenix looking at a map so you get a geographical sense of where they're located and the distance between all these areas, these main points of interest of all places here in the greater Phoenix area. But if you just want to cut to the chase and just give us a call to talk about anything and everything Phoenix, no pun intended, just look at the information below. Give us a call, 480-660-5974. We'd be happy to chat with you for as long as you want about anything that has to do with Phoenix and Phoenix real estate. Now, before we go to the map, we're going to talk about four major things on this video. The first is going to be the major highways, interstates, and roads throughout the greater Phoenix area. The second is going to be the best places or areas throughout the Phoenix area. Now, there's a lot of subjectivity here. We're going to use niche.com to talk about some of these places, but we're also going to use some of the knowledge of living in Phoenix for over 20 years that I have in my brain and for serving over 3,500 real estate clients in those 19 years of selling real estate here in the Phoenix Valley. And we're not going to hit on all the places. There's a lot of great places in the Phoenix area, and we just don't have time to hit all of them, but we're going to touch on a few of those that are geographically located throughout the entire area so we get a full round robin tour, if you will, as the ultimate guide when looking to move or relocate within or to the Phoenix area. The third thing we'll touch on, cost of living, primarily the areas that have the cheapest housing or cheaper housing compared to areas that have the more expensive housing. As we know, cost of living is one of the biggest aspects that attribute to higher or lower cost of living. Throughout Phoenix, you're going to get a lot of the same cost of living aspects when it comes to groceries, utility bills, things of that nature, but the housing aspect does change wildly from one suburb or one area, and we're gonna hit that on this video as well. So I have the map here of Phoenix pulled up, and as we talked about, we're gonna cover the major interstates, freeways, and roads, and I'm gonna go and take you on a tour around that aspect. Now, I did another video that you can check out right here when it comes to traffic flow and traffic patterns throughout the entire Phoenix area that I think is very helpful, especially when it comes to employment centers, things of that nature. We're not covering that here today, but we are going to cover those freeways and where they go to and how it kind of works around the entire area of Phoenix so that you're fully informed on that. Then we're going to cover the areas, some of the best areas, some of the more popular areas according to niche.com, so that it is information that's out there and it's not necessarily just my subjective opinion, but I do have 19 years of selling real estate and 20 years of living here in the Phoenix area that I think brings good perspective for somebody who's looking to maybe relocate, or maybe you already own a home here but you're looking to move around to a different type of property, upsize, downsize. If you are, we would love to have that conversation with you. You can always call me at 480-660-5974 or click on a Calendly link below. All right, now here we go. This is the interstate system and the major interstates throughout Phoenix. So let's start first with the major interstates and freeways through Phoenix. Now let's go north and south. Right here you have the I-17, and you can see the I-17 originates here in the downtown area and goes all the way straight north up to Flagstaff, Arizona, which is about a 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive from downtown Phoenix. So that is a major thoroughfare, semi-trucks, the whole 9 yards, 18-wheelers, all that stuff. Then you have the I-10. Okay, the I-10 goes around downtown, through it, and then all the way out here, and that takes you to Los Angeles, okay? Going that way. Draw a little arrow there. And then you have the 85 that cuts off the I-10 going south to Gila Bend, and that eventually syncs up with Interstate 5, and that heads out to San Diego. So SD, San Diego, right there, okay? Now, I-10 also is a major interstate throughout America, and it cuts down through here and goes southbound here to Tucson. Put a T there for Tucson, okay? And then that eventually heads on over to El Paso, Texas. And then you have the 60. Now the 60 is a state route, and that actually heads down to Globe right over here, and then on up that way to Sholo or Pine Top, which is the White Mountains area, which is beautiful, guys. If you've never been there, it is beautiful, especially in the wintertime. The best skiing in Arizona, there's some good skiing in Arizona, is up there in Sholo Pine Top, okay? Then the other major road, which is kind of more of a mid-major road, is 87, which is a highway that goes up northeast towards Payson, okay? Payson, Arizona, which is also in the White Mountains area. And it is not quite as cool as Show Low and the Northern Rim cities like Flagstaff, but it is cooler, much cooler than it is in the Valley. Now, speaking of Valley, I want to put the satellite layer on this map, okay? Now, if you see Phoenix, it sits in a valley. That's why it's called the Valley of the Sun. A ton of sunshine, over 300 days, in fact, of sunshine easily every single year, but it sits down in this bowl, okay? You have mountains that surround it almost on all sides. So as you can see right here, you have the Australian Mountains right here. You have the South Mountain Range that cuts right through there. You have the White Tank Mountains right there. You have the McDowell Mountains that cut at an angle, okay, right there. You have the Superstition Mountains all the way through here, out in that area, and you have some other mountains as well. Now, obviously, you can see as we go north a little bit, you have all kinds of mountains that start to occur up here, right? And so on and so forth. So you have a lot of mountains, and you see that the population sits right in between all of that, and that's why it's formed the way it does. You can see that most of the population, if I get out of here and get a different color, you can see most of the population is actually throughout these areas right here, okay, around these mountains all the way down this way, okay, and through here. So you can see it's not a perfect circle by any stretch of imagination like a lot of cities are, where you have these beltways, these loops. We don't have that in Phoenix, primarily because the mountains. So now that you have the major lay of the land in terms of how Phoenix is laid out for major roads and highways, let's zoom in one more click here, and let's focus on the 5 million plus people or so that live right here in the majority of this population right through the Phoenix area. So now that we cover the major freeways and highways cutting through the Phoenix area, let's talk about the smaller looped freeway system that Phoenix primarily has. You can see out here that we have the outer loop, which is the newer 303 that connects at the top of 17 down to the I-10. And then you have the 101 loop that is the kind of inner belt, if you will, that loops all the way around and all the way down to the East Valley that way. And then we have the 202 loop. Now this section right here behind the Ahwatukee foothills, that right there is all brand new as of about 3 or 4 years ago, connecting the I-10 to the 202 down here, which is huge and a huge convenience for commuters and people living in Phoenix. Then you have the 202 Santan Loop, it's called, down here, that goes all the way around to the Red Mountain part of the 202 loop that connects all the way into the 51 right there. So that's the loop system. Now you also have the State Route 51, which is awesome because that flows really nicely and it kind of cuts at an angle like you can see. So if you live up here in the Desert Ridge, North Phoenix, North Scottsdale area, and you want to work downtown, this is a great option, alternative option to the 101 loop. And last but not least, you have the 60. Now this portion of the 60 right here, it looks like an interstate, but it's not. It is a 3-lane road for the most part going to downtown Phoenix from the west side, but it doesn't become an interstate till you get out past the 303 loop, and it now starts to become a little more rural. But this will head up to Whitman and Wickenburg, and eventually this goes to Las Vegas, which is awesome, especially for you gamblers out there. So now let's transition, and we're gonna cover the areas, the places throughout the Phoenix Valley that I think are important to just notate when watching this video as an all-encompassing ultimate guide to relocating or moving to or moving within the Phoenix area. Now, when I first moved here, it was 2004. So 20 years later, Phoenix has changed a lot. This is my 20th anniversary year for living in Phoenix, and it's awesome. I love it here. Now, I had family living in Scottsdale, so I settled in this area right off the 101, right about there, if you can see my shaded circle. Now, since then, I have grown to love this area. It is an amazing area. It's grown immensely. It is popular. It's known on a national scale because Scottsdale is one of those cities that everyone kind of knows about as a resort style town. It has a lot of perks to it. And me and my wife love it. Now, I was single when I first settled in Scottsdale, and so I wasn't sure where I was going to go. I just by default settled there, and we have grown to love it. And since over those 20 years, we have moved a whopping distance from that black circle to right about here. So we didn't move far, and we absolutely love it. Now, being married having 3 kids of my own and a family, it is very family oriented. There are a ton of families with kids in this area, and we just have really grown to love the central Scottsdale location. It is great for an outdoor lifestyle. There are a ton of families. There are great schools with the Scottsdale Unified School District. There are great churches if you're wanting to worship, and a ton of entertainment and things to do. Great food, guys. The food scene in Scottsdale and Phoenix in general has just exploded over the past 10 years, really 10 to 15 years. So it looks a lot different than what it was just 20 years ago when I first arrived. Now, there's this running joke in Phoenix because it's so spread out that everything is about 20 minutes away. That's not always the case. There are things much closer. It depends where you currently live, but there are conveniences, there are commercial activity, there are strip malls, there is pretty much everything you would like to know about and need on a daily basis to live pretty much anywhere in the valley. Let's be honest about that, unless you're on the outskirts. But in this area of Scottsdale, it is phenomenal. So Scottsdale is our #1 area we're going to talk about right now. Scottsdale is known as America's most livable city. It was coined that years ago, and they have ran with that saying, or that slogan. Now, when it comes to geographical location, Scottsdale is located in the Northeast Valley, as you can see by the map here, and it is very long and skinny. Now, these are not drawn to scale, but Scottsdale is going to be something looking like this, okay? That is going to be Scottsdale in general. That's the location. And then down here, you have this Old Town Scottsdale area, this beautiful area that people love for amazing shopping, dining, entertainment. I mean, world class, really, right down there, Old Town or downtown Scottsdale. It is one of the main entertainment hubs or places to go for leisurely activities. Scottsdale is also known for the resorts that it has. It has some of the most amazing resorts, picturesque desert living, mountains, city light views, gorgeous upscale luxury resorts. So if you were looking for a staycation because you live here, or maybe you'll come in to visit, you got to check out our video we've done on several resorts in the Scottsdale area here on our YouTube channel. So now let's pivot from Scottsdale down to the East Valley, where we're going to talk about 2 specific suburbs that are on everyone's radar, on everyone's top 10 list for an amazing place to live in the entire state of Arizona. And that's going to be Gilbert, which is right here, and it's going to be Chandler right here. Now, these two are side by side, but you can see they primarily take up the entire area south of the 60 interstate right here over to approximately the 101. So this whole area, even moving south down here, is phenomenal. And that's going to be the Chandler Gilbert area right in there. And somewhere in here along the lines is the cutoff between Chandler and Gilbert. So don't take this as the actual guide of where these city lines actually occur, but it's in this general vicinity because I'm not the best drawer. Now, what Chandler and Gilbert are really known for are raising a family. They're gonna be in everyone's top 5 list probably when it comes to Arizona for raising families. Very family oriented, amazing schools, a lot of great jobs live in this area. You have some phenomenal communities, master plan communities, where everyone is out and about at parks in the neighborhood, communities, and things of that nature. So it's a great place, very safe to raise a family. When it comes to entertainment, both of them are not going to be highly rated, but they do have really cool downtown areas. Downtown Chandler is amazing. It has the Santan Brewery, which is a large brewery, but it's an Arizona-based brewery. It has a lot of new restaurants and one of my favorite mom and pop coffee shops, Prosciutto. It is just a phenomenal place to go walk around. The walkability score is very high, and it has been revitalized over the past several years. Same with the downtown Gilbert area, very similar. I would say Gilbert area, in many ways, might be actually just a little bit better. They have some really amazing food concepts and restaurants, and that are just really, really awesome and good food. Walkability score is high. They have a farmer's market down there. There's a water tower in downtown Gilbert that just gives it that small town feel, even though you're completely connected to the rest of the Phoenix area. So you can get just about everything you need from a good entertainment on a Saturday night, unless you're looking to go to the club. That may not work out so well in Gilbert or Chandler. You have to go to Old Town Scottsdale or downtown Phoenix or someplace like that. But when it comes to just having a great meal, a good maybe drink, and just hanging out more low-key, those places are going to be awesome to go to. And last but not least, I can't talk about a video of Chandler without mentioning the corporate headquarters, the world headquarters of Intel down in South Chandler. This has provided a huge economic boost to the economy. You're talking Intel injecting billions of dollars into that local economy because it is one of the largest chip manufacturers in the entire world. And it's located right there in South Chandler. So now we're going to stay in East Valley. We're going to talk about one more place, and that is going to be Queen Creek. Guys, you can see the map right here. I'm going to draw this for you really fast, but Queen Creek is right down here, and it is a really, really great place that is up and coming, that is continuing to grow, that is more affordable than Chandler and Gilbert when it comes to cost of living, but it's a phenomenal little location, a great country town feel that again feels smaller than these other suburbs, but yet it is completely connected as well to the greater Phoenix area. So you have the best of both worlds to an extent. Now in Queen Creek, you're gonna experience family living at its finest. A lot of families, a lot of smaller kids. People go there because it's more affordable on the housing side, but it's super safe. If they don't have to commute to downtown Phoenix, it's a great place to be. If you have to commute, the con is gonna be that you're gonna have a little more time to get there, because in looking at the map here, you have to actually go north to hit the 24, which is a brand new state route to connect into the 202. Then you go either that way, or you go up this way to the 60 and over to downtown, or you follow the 22 around down to downtown Phoenix or Old Town Scottsdale, and that is a hike. As you can see, there's no major interstate through here connecting this whole area that's very up and coming and building up to the 60 or the 202. The 24 might eventually go there, but right now it doesn't make its way all the way down into Queen Creek. So traffic flow to get someplace quick is going to be a little bit of a problem living in Queen Creek. But outside that, it is amazing. They have a huge peach orchard down there, which is just awesome to go. School tours, you go pick unlimited peaches. They have an olive factory, an olive farm down there that's huge. You can get any type of olive oil that you could ever imagine right there at the olive farm. So Queen Creek is a phenomenal place to go home that you need to check out. Now, as we head west, discovering a few more places across the valley, you can see that right here in this little area behind South Mountain Preserve is this area called the Ahwatukee Foothills. Now, this is unique because number one, you probably can't spell it correctly. If you can, kudos to you. Ahwatukee is located in the city of Phoenix. It has a Phoenix address, but it's known as an area affectionately of Ahwatukee and the Ahwatukee Foothills. This is a great place because before the 202 came in, this was really private. Now it's still private because it sits tucked in behind the South Mountain Preserve right here. And that is a large mountain preserve with, by the way, one of the largest state parks in all of America. Mountain biking trails, road biking trails, hiking, walking, and doing all kinds of outdoor activities. That's a great place to go if you're looking for that kind of lifestyle. And so Ahwatukee is located right there next to it. The schools are great in Ahwatukee. The lifestyle is great, family oriented, and because it's so privately tucked back in there, you have a unique community located right there in the Ahwatukee Foothills. Now, just next to the Ahwatukee Foothills, I'm going to talk about a place that nobody talks about, like literally nobody. You've heard of the city of Tempe. It's a suburb. That's home of ASU. That's located right up in this area, right in here, ASU, right there. And everyone knows Tempe because of ASU. ASU has put Tempe on the map. Arizona State is the largest public university in all of America by enrollment. Now, it fluctuates sometimes between University of Florida and Ohio State and places like that, but it's always up there. I think right now it is the largest per enrollment in all of America. So it is enormous. But what no one talks about is South Tempe. And it's this area, guys, south of the 60 right here, okay, all the way down to here. No one talks this little box, because over here you have Chandler. Everyone loves Chandler. Over here I have Ahwatukee. Everyone loves Ahwatukee, but no one talks about South Tempe, guys. In this area right here, you have a lot of multi-million-dollar homes, and you have some affordable housing as well. It's very safe. Now, there's this area right here called Guadalupe that I would not recommend greatly for a lot of reasons, but South Tempe, that's right here, okay, in this whole area, is just awesome. Great schools, very safe, some beautiful, mature communities with huge shade trees, and the list goes on. And it's centrally located between these interstates of the 101 and the I-10, as the I-10 comes all the way down, heading down to Tucson that way. So it's just really well located, and people just forget about it. When they think of Tempe, they think of ASU. I'm not sure if I want to go there because of the college kids and it's going to be loud and all this stuff. But south of the 60, in that little box between the I-10 and the 101, is a special little gem that we would love to tell you more about. If you want to give us a call, 480-660-5974. We would love to chat with you about this area and any other areas you have questions about as well. Now, moving north a little bit around the South Mountain Range right here, we're going to go up until we get right here into the South Scottsdale area. I want to keep this separate from Scottsdale because it gets lost in translation, because part of this area has a Scottsdale address, part of this area has a Phoenix address, and that is the area of Arcadia. It is a special area, guys. You're looking at the area affectionately known as Arcadia to be right in this area, generally speaking, and it is a cute
Did I say the word cute? I did say cute. It is a cute little area. And if you're from the Midwest, or maybe from California, where you have this greenery of a lot of grass and everywhere, and you have these huge shade trees, mature landscaping and trees, then this is the area you might want to check out. Now, the con is it is expensive. Home values have skyrocketed over the past 3 to 4 years in Arcadia because everybody wants to be centrally located and they want to have that type of green, lush landscaping because so many people come here to Phoenix to escape the cold weather of the Midwest or maybe even Northern California. And so you kind of get the best of both worlds here with the Arcadia area. The larger the lots are larger, and that's why part of the properties are more expensive because you're paying for the land, and the land allows you to have the ability to build a large house and still have a good sized backyard for the family, the kids, the entertainment, the get-togethers, and all those things that build community. Speaking of the community, Arcadia has that. The walkability score is fantastic down here, guys. A lot of mom and pop coffee stores and restaurants that you can walk to. No, hardly any gated communities down here, but yet it's still very safe because the price point kind of keeps out any maybe mischievous characters that are looking to do not so great things. All kinds of worlds kind of collide right here in the Arcadia area, and we have a whole video on that on our YouTube channel as well.
Now, we take a lot of time, energy, and effort to make the best videos possible for you on this YouTube channel when it comes to anything and everything that has to do with Phoenix. If you don't mind just hitting that like button or subscribing for us to get this video out to more and more people, we'd really appreciate it, as we are passionate about this, and it's a pleasure for us to serve anyone who can watch this video and get some knowledge and education around the information that we're giving here today.
Now, before we go any further, I want to point out where the airport is in Phoenix. This is important, guys, because this is how a lot of people travel, or maybe if you live in Phoenix, you're going to have to go to the airport to travel for your work or your job. So right here is Sky Harbor Airport. You talk about a central location for an airport, this is it. I mean, look how centralized it is for anyone living in the area or flying into the Phoenix area. It works out perfectly because you're only about 20 minutes away from the airport in most places throughout the valley. Now, obviously, if you're in the outskirts, it's going to be longer than that. But primarily, to give you a sense of timing, if you're on this outer belt of the 101 up here, you're looking at about 20 minutes down to the airport. 20 minutes, 25 minutes down to the airport on a normal non-traffic day, okay? 20 minutes around here to the airport, approximately all around here, okay? 20 minutes from here or so to the airport, 20 minutes, that sort of thing. Now, if you're over here on the west side, it could be a little bit longer, 25, 30 minutes. If you're out here on the 303, Surprise, Litchfield Park, Goodyear area, it could be, depending on traffic, but it could be on a normal traffic flow day, 35, 40, 45 minutes to get down to the airport. And same out here. It could be 35 to 40 minutes to 45 minutes out here, depending on exactly where you are. So it just depends where you are to get to this central location of Sky Harbor, which is a well-located area for a major international airport. Now, moving just a little bit to the west, we have the historic districts of Phoenix. We have to talk about this area because it is an area that no one really talks about, but is a phenomenal option for the type of lifestyle you may want to live. For example, the historic districts are right here for the most part, right here in the uptown Phoenix area, just a little bit north of downtown. Now, downtown primarily sits all right in here, okay? That's downtown Phoenix. And this area right here in uptown, which also has other high-rise buildings, are the historic districts. You have historic districts named like the Willow District, the Palm Crop and Canto area, the Coronado District, the FQ Story Historic District, and there's multiple other ones as well. But guys, if you want homes built in the 30s, the 20s, the 40s, the 50s, Tudor style homes, bungalow style homes with some really cool architecture, that's the place you want to be. And let's not forget that in the situation too, you're only just minutes from downtown. I mean, you scroll this in, take my eraser and get rid of this, okay? You're looking at, there's Encanto Village right there, and you can see Sky Harbor Airport, and you can see downtown Phoenix, okay? Right there as well. So right in here is where you're gonna find all of those historic districts. For the most part, there's Coronado right in this area, okay? For the most part, the majority of them. So you're right here in uptown, you're right here in downtown. You're just literally minutes from the airport, and everything else as the nucleus, the center part of the downtown Phoenix area. And the food down here in this area of town, oh, Oh, it's beautiful, guys. The authentic Mexican food that you'll find in uptown and downtown Phoenix, amazing, absolutely amazing. So if that's something that you want to do, you want to walk to coffee shops, you want to walk to possibly where you work, you want to ride the light rail. The light rail does go through downtown Phoenix, up through uptown here, and over to the airport and over to Tempe and part of Mesa. And you want to have that lifestyle, the urban lifestyle. Phoenix does have that to a degree. It does offer that to a degree. It's not going to offer it to the same extent as other major cities will because it's so spread out, but it does offer that to a degree, and that's where you're going to find it. Now, moving west down the I-10, you can see over here, you have the town of Goodyear. Well, in Goodyear, there's this little area down in here called Australia Mountain Ranch. It is beautiful. It's a self-sustaining community where really once you're there, you really don't have to leave. The amenities are second to none. It has a clubhouse. It has a rec center, pools, spas. It has a workout facility, basketball courts, pickleball courts, and the list goes on and on. And it has grocery stores down there, restaurants. Everything you need down there is phenomenal. And the affordable housing down there is good as well. So that is a pro. Now, the downside obviously is you're stuck down there a little ways. And so your drive up to the 10 is a little bit. And then from the 10, you can go up to 303, or you can go east on the I-10 towards downtown Phoenix. You can get to where you need to be if you want to be primarily on the west side of town or don't have to go anywhere to work. But obviously trying to get to the East Valley or Scottsdale or those places for anything you want to do is going to be a long time. Taking this drive as an example from here up to 51 or down the 202 up into Scottsdale here, that could be a good 50 to 55 minute drive, depending on where you're going to end up at Scottsdale and where you start down here in Australian Mountain Ranch. But I highly recommend that area for a self-sustaining area that once you go, it's almost like being in a resort to a degree. Now let's go north to the city of Peoria. Now Peoria on the map is right here. Okay. It's a little misleading. Now Peoria does extend to the south of Peoria about that far. That is correct. However, Peoria is a huge part of the valley up in this area and extends all the way up to Lake Pleasant Regional Park and this whole area down here and back and around and over and then kind of down like this. Again, not to scale, but in that general vicinity, okay? Don't hold me to this drawing, please. But it's in this area right here, and it's just a great up and coming place. Everything, for the most part, is newer over the last 10 to 20 years, except for the downtown Peoria area is a little bit older. That's down in here. But up in this area, a lot of new things. It has a master plan community called Vistancia that is just absolutely gorgeous. And within Vistancia, there are multiple different communities as well, including a private country club area called Blackstone and a 55 plus retirement community part of that same Vistancia neighborhood as well. What's great about Peoria is the outdoor lifestyle. There are a ton of parks, a ton of things to do outside. They are taking advantage of their location to Lake Pleasant right here, which is the largest lake in the greater Phoenix metro area in terms of proximity and location. And there are some lakes that are good size as well, like Roosevelt, etc., but they're a little further away. Lake Pleasant's right here is a large lake, a lot of boating, a lot of fun that you can do. Take your boat there, you can leave it there on a slip, you can bring it with you and take it out. There's a lot of things you do, all the water sports, all the activities. There's fishing, and the list goes on and on and on. And depending on where you are going to live in Peoria, you will have a quicker access to other parts of the valley down the 101 or down the 303 to the West Valley and over to LA. Now, as we make our rounds from Peoria over to the east, we're going to call this area in North Phoenix the North Gateway area. This area right up here, okay, North Gateway area. And this is arguably the most up and coming area in the entire Phoenix area because primarily of what's going in right here. And that is the TSMC chip factory, guys, semiconductor factory, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. They have now added another $20 billion to their investment for a total of $60 billion with 3 fabs that they're building. This is enormous. They're trying to have all 3 fabs up and running by the end of this decade. They'll have their first fab up and running here shortly in 2025 if everything goes as planned. But this is a $60 billion investment, and the amount of industrial suppliers now that are starting to rent space or buy space along the 303 corridor right here is incredible. So the amount of jobs in this area right here, especially over the next 5 years to 10 years is going to explode, causing home values in this area to increase also with that. So if you're looking for a house in a great area with low crime and good transportation down the I-17 to where you have to go, this might be the place, because from a speculation basis, if I was going to bet on a place for that, it'd probably be around this area, because there's so much land to build, there's so much building to be had, and there is a lot of high-paying jobs coming in to this North Phoenix area right here. And also what I love about the North Phoenix area right here in this North Gateway neighborhood is the fact that you are so close to the Flagstaff, Sedona, Northern Rim area, which is phenomenal and a completely different ecosystem than the Sonoran Desert. From this area, you're an hour and a half, that's it, to Flagstaff. Flagstaff sits north of 8,000 feet above sea level. It is like living in Colorado to an extent, and it's a beautiful, smaller town that you can ski, snowboard in the winter, that you can go hang out and get 80-degree temperatures when it's 110 here in July and August. And it's just a wonderful reprieve. So a lot of people have places, or just go up there to the hotel, take a break from the heat in the summertime, because it's only an hour and a half drive from here, or a 2-hour drive from, say, down in Scottsdale over here. So that being said, if you're in North Phoenix, you got a great excuse to get a weekend getaway up north to the mountains. Now, as we come down south, the I-17 from North Phoenix, and you get to this area right over here, this is the Desert Ridge area. Now, this borders right here with Scottsdale, but this is actually a Phoenix address right here in the Desert Ridge area. But it feels like Scottsdale. It is a phenomenal area primarily because of the location. Location is second to none. You have the access right here, just sitting north of 101 to go west, to go east, to go south on major freeways, interstates right there that you can zip to all different parts of the valley quickly. This is a great place because of location, but also the houses are newer, houses are nicer, big neighborhoods, different amenities in different neighborhoods to choose from right there in Desert Ridge. We have a whole video on that as well. And there's a marketplace there with amazing shopping, outdoor mall that you just can't beat. It's really, really good. Theaters, restaurants, coffee shops, all right here in the Desert Ridge area. This makes the Desert Ridge area one of the most sought after places to live in, and property values over the past 10 years have skyrocketed. Again, location, location, location. Now, coming down from Desert Ridge, down the 51, there's this area called Paradise Valley. Now, we're not going to focus on Paradise Valley today. Paradise Valley is the most luxurious real estate in all of Phoenix, and it's beautiful. We're going to focus on this video for the area of Paradise Valley Village. It's a subjective area or neighborhood, but primarily you're looking at this area in North Phoenix, north of Sunny Slope, right in here, okay? That is Phoenix right there. Again, not to perfect scale, but this area right here, north of Paradise Valley, a Phoenix address just sitting west of Scottsdale, right through here, and north of Sunny Slope. Sunny Slope is not one of the best areas overall, but this little area, Paradise Valley Village right here, is great. You're located right here just south of Desert Ridge, but you're not paying Desert Ridge prices, and you most definitely are not paying Paradise Valley prices. So you have a lot more affordability. Cost of living is going to be less, and it's a great area for getting around the valley to wherever you need to go. A lot of different smaller communities, not a lot of big master plan communities right through here. You have some communities that are HOA communities within here that are built in the last 20 years. You have houses in here that don't have HOAs because they're built maybe in the 70s or 80s. So you have a lot of mixture in Paradise Valley Village as well. And it's an area a lot of people don't talk about enough, in my opinion, especially if you're talking about affordable housing that has a great location also. So remember the big points of emphasis here on the map in this area of Phoenix. You have the downtown area here. You have Sky Harbor here. If you're flying out a lot or flying in to visit, because maybe you have a second home or whatever the case may be, then these are areas that you need to be aware of. If you're looking to go to the beach, Rocky Point is going to be your place to go. That is going to be down south towards Mexico. It's a 3-hour drive to the border and another hour drive once you're in Mexico to Rocky Point, but that's the closest beach. If you want to San Diego, that's a 5-hour drive or so this way approximately. If you want to go to LA, that's going to be a 5.5 to 6-hour drive that way. If you want to go to Las Vegas, you're looking at a 4.5 hour to 5-hour drive that way. Flagstaff, a 1.5 to 2-hour drive. And then of course, up to the Northern Rim, Payson, you're looking at a 1 hour to 1.5 hour drive there. That's it. And if you're looking to go down to Tucson, down the 10 this way to Tucson, which eventually leads over to El Paso. And of course, if you want to go to Albuquerque or Santa Fe, New Mexico, then you're simply going to go up to 17 to Flagstaff, which is about an 1.5 hour to 2-hour drive, and then over the I-40 right direct shot to Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is going to be about a 5-6 hour drive right there.
Wow, I hope your head is not spinning. That was a lot of information, and hopefully good information, hopefully information that you can take to better and further your knowledge of this beautiful city of Phoenix, Arizona. If you have any questions, we are here for you. And if you have any suggestions of how we can make videos better, or topics of certain videos that we haven't hit yet or you have not seen on our channel, we want to record them. So leave a comment below and we will get on the research and the formation and editing of that video, I promise. So thank you so much, guys, for the support of this channel. Don't forget to call me at 480-660-5974 or check out our Instagram page right here where we're putting out daily content for your personal education and enjoyment. To ensure you never miss another video, go ahead and subscribe and like our channel, or check out our playlist right here of other amazing videos we've done for places around the greater Phoenix area. Oh, and don't forget to call me.